And now, I'd like to introduce Christa Orth, a class of 2010 Writers Retreat Fellow in Nonfiction.
I'm reading from my chapter in Ariel Gore's edited collection, Portland Queer, which won the Lambda Literary Award this year. Very proud. The year was 1973, and Steve Harmon was plugged into a switchboard in a downtown building on Southwest 4th Avenue in Oak. His late shift had just begun. The clock struck 9 p.m., the bewitching hour. Steve answered the line. Pacific Northwest Bell Directory Assistance, how may I help you? The man on the other end breathed heavily for a moment, then asked for the number for the Riptide. Steve had never been there, but he knew the Riptide was a gay bar. He gave the man the number quickly. He knew it by heart. The man paused for a few moments and then asked suggestively, "Going out tonight?" When Pacific Northwest Bell hired Steve in 1973, he became the first male phone operator in Portland. His sister got him the job as soon as the phone company started hiring men. The company had also started to hire women as linemen. So here Steve was, sitting in rows of women, answering the directory assistance calls, and his was the only male voice on the phones. The directory assistance operators had to be plugged into their board at all times on their shift. Pacific Northwest Bell valued customer service and timed each call. Callers were never to wait more than 15 seconds for the number they were requesting. The operators sat with a big Portland General directory in front of them. They wore rubber finger condoms to flip the pages faster. There was a red button on the right-hand side of the switchboard that you could use to disconnect calls, but you were never supposed to push that red button unless someone was obscene or threatening. During the first week answering directory assistance, Steve got several deep breathers on the line. When he answered, the callers would pause, not say anything, and then hang up. One day, Steve answered and a guy started screaming, "Oh my God, get a haircut and get a man's job." Steve had short hair, but the caller had obviously expected to hear a woman's voice. Hostile callers continued to verbally abuse Steve. If you were a man doing a woman's job, you had to be gay. A number of people called Steve queer or faggot. One caller talked about Jesus. Steve's supervisor, Christine, called him off the board one day for a private meeting. She'd listen in on one of those hostile calls. She hoped Steve was taking it all in stride. The callers just weren't used to a man's voice. Steve was embarrassed that his presence was causing so much havoc, but he felt it was important for Christine to know it hurt when the callers called him a faggot. Steve's cheeks burned. He took a deep breath. "I want you to know I'm gay," he told Christine. It was the first time he'd ever come out at work. Christine was supportive. She told him if he ever got a hostile caller, not to argue with them, not to take their abuse, but just click them off. Steve didn't feel embarrassed anymore. Callers were just going to have to get used to his voice. The next time a caller called him a faggot, Steve didn't hesitate. He pressed the red button. Click. Steve found other people like him at Pacific Northwest Bell. He made fast friends with Lynn, another operator, a sissy butch. She never wore a dress, she never wore a bra, and dated femme women. Steve and Lynn sat across from each other. On slow shifts, they chatted and played around. Lynn took Steve out to a women's bar under the bridges in Southeast. The first time they walked in together, the women tried to kick him out. Lynn had to vouch that he was gay. There were other gay fixtures at the phone company. In the name of good customer service, each week the company published a new updated directory for the operators to flip through. Each alphabetic section was divided by a neatly organized list of frequently called phone numbers. Every gay bar in Portland was on that frequently called list. Around 9 o'clock, directory assistance was flooded with calls for the smoky, sexy bars like Dima's Tavern, which is now Darcel 15, 15, sorry, Roman numerals. Darcel 15, sorry Darcel. The Tav, the Half Moon, and the Riptide. Pretty soon, Steve had memorized them all. When Steve answered the line, he wasn't allowed to have open conversations with the callers. But that didn't stop gay men from asking, "Going out tonight?" And that didn't stop Steve from telling them his own coded line. I'm not old enough.